Well, let's stay with our main story. And one real estate firm that has a storied presence in the kingdom is Dar Al Arqam, based in Riyadh since 1994. It's currently among the largest developers by market value in the kingdom. Well, after listing on the Saudi Stock Exchange in 2007, its ambitions soared outside the kingdom with the establishment of DarGlobal. DarGlobal was founded in 2017 as the international arm of the Saudi giant. And DarGlobal now boasts partnerships with some major brands, including the Trump Organization. Well, let's find out more now. We can speak to Ziad El Chaar, who is the CEO of the real estate developer DarGlobal, which started in Saudi Arabia and which was the first Saudi company to succeed in listing on the primary market in the UK. Mr. El Chaar, thank you very much for coming to see us here at Al Arabiya.
Thank you.
As things stand right now, you've got 2.8 billion Saudi riyals worth of projects in Saudi Arabia. Amongst them, there's the Trump Tower in Jeddah, two other collaborations with the Trump brand in Riyadh. Before we talk about all of that, could you just start by telling us a little bit about how DarGlobal has grown into what it is today?
Of course. So our parent company is the well-known Saudi company called Dar Al Arqam, listed on Tadawul since 2008. So we've set out in approximately after the pandemic to start a global arm to develop real estate projects in international cities. So these are cities that have demand from at least 40 to 50 nationalities. So we started in the neighboring cities. We went to Dubai, we went to Ras Al Khaimah, we went to Muscat, we went to Doha, and then we went after European ventures. We went to London, we went to the south of Spain, 4 cities in the south of Spain, and we started looking at other opportunities. And thank you for mentioning, we were the first Saudi company to be able to list on the primary market in London in February 2023. And this gave more independence to DarGlobal and gave us more scope to do more collaborations globally.
And yet, you've got this you are an international entity. And you've got at least, as I mentioned, a couple of projects planned in Saudi Arabia. So you seem to have done a bit of a U-turn and gone back to where you started.
So our specialty is luxury real estate in international cities. And then last year in March, Saudi announced the opening up of the market for international investors, which was news to everybody. And at the same time, the Saudi government has been investing heavily in the last 6 or 7 years on promoting Saudi as a destination for investment, as a destination for tourism, as a destination for living. So when this law came out last March, we were very much motivated to take our business model of going after international customers to enter a foreign market, and at the same time to take our luxury offering into Saudi.
Okay, what is it about the Saudi market that makes it an attractive place for real estate investors?
You see, this is where it gets very interesting, because people see Saudi as like a market that is new in attracting foreigners, behind markets that started doing that, like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or Doha, or Muscat, or even Manama. However, we need to recognize the size of the market of the Saudi, the size of the economy of Saudi, the size of the local population of Saudi, the size of the expats in Saudi. And when you look at that, first Saudi needed to take care of its own. And this is why you have today some of the best achievement in home ownership in Saudi towards Saudi locals. In 2023, this percentage has reached 63%, up from 47% in 2016, which would make it among G20 nations one of the best growth in home ownership. So the first focus in Saudi was home ownership for Saudi nationals, which has been achieved. So after doing that, now you go after touristic destinations where you would motivate foreigners and locals to take second homes or vacation homes. And you go after investments by expats where people would see that this Saudi market is heavily growing. And at the same time, it's the destination for most of the global activities these days. And they see a major investment from the government in new cities, infrastructure, major projects to make life in the kingdom for locals and expats at the global standards.
Okay, and everything you've said, it sounds like it's very much chiming with Vision 2030, which we talk about a lot on this program. So it's very much in keeping with what's planned for the kingdom and how it's going to unfold in the next 5 years.
This is all part of the Vision 2030. This is where all it started. Because when you look at the structure of the real estate market in Saudi, it was historically a market that is targeting social housing market, middle class housing. That was mainly done by a lot of developers. Then the luxury market was mainly a self-built market. People who were well off or high net worth used to go buy a land to build their project. And the expat market was inexistent because there was no law for that. Come Vision 2030, you've tackled the social housing and the middle class housing by providing incentives to increase the home ownership. And then the launch of so many iconic master communities and mega projects in many cities in Saudi that tackle the demand for luxury housing and second homes and vacation homes. And then you put up a law for home ownership and a long-term visa for non-Saudis. So this all came in the last 6 or 7 years.
Right, so the whole sector's had a huge change, and as you say, home ownership has skyrocketed. But I expect there are still some challenges, aren't there, for the real estate sector? What might they be?
You see, anytime you would see a booming market and a fast-growing market, we will always have challenges in construction. And the first challenge is availability of contractors, quality of contractors, because there's a lot of competition for so many projects across the kingdom, especially after committing to the Expo 2030 and the World Cup 2034 and the Asian Games and the Winter Asian Games, among others. So definitely we're all having challenges in the selection of contractors, availability of contractors, and pricing of contractors.
Okay, and obviously massive projects like NEOM, the giga projects that we talk about a lot on this channel, must have raised the profile enormously of Saudi Arabia. Are you seeing that's influencing, let's say, investor interest in the kingdom? Are you seeing that having a direct impact?
You see, I travel a lot for my business because I go to many international cities to look at opportunities or to visit our offices. So when I visit our office in New York, and then you go to Times Square and you see a sign, Invest Saudi, or you see a sign for one of the projects in Saudi, that was a first for so many people. But then this is where the government played aggressively on not just promoting and executing, so that when people come and visit Saudi, they see that this promotion is being actually built. And then to top it off, you go and take those massive global activities to be hosted in Saudi Arabia. And this should be now to the benefit of, I have to say, real estate developers, because we should be promoting Invest Saudi also, because you'll have a lot of people who have a raised interest to come and invest at the start of the market. Investors know how important is it to get into the market at the beginning. And this is what we have a duty to showcase, because yes, at the end of the day, I have a duty to my shareholders to make a profit in the company, but also being part of the FDI of the country you work in gives you a lot of satisfaction.
What's most attractive for a real estate investor in Saudi right now? Is it on the residential side, commercial, industrial? Where are they going to see the best returns?
We'll have to follow the guidelines of the law that were issued last March, where you have mainly a focus on residential to get the long-term visa. And here also Saudi played it very intelligently, because they said for expats, the ticket has to be 4 million riyals and higher. Thereby, they do not affect the units designed for social housing and middle class income to compete with the expats who are coming to invest in the country. And then eventually you'd have problems like some of the countries where you had problems with the golden visas, is that the locals could not find properties to buy. So they've done this very clear separation through putting this 4 million riyals threshold.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Trump collaboration. First of all, how did your collaboration with the Trump organization come about in the first place?
You see, personally, my first collaboration with the organization was in one of my earlier jobs in 2012, when I convinced the Trump organization to come and work with a company in Dubai to build what is today the Trump International Golf Club Dubai. And I saw the power of the brand. I saw the attention to design. I saw the support they will give you in promoting projects and in managing of these projects. This was well beyond politics and even 4 years before that. So obviously when I saw opportunities that we're currently doing in DarGlobal, I went back to Eric Trump, the executive vice president of the organization, said, listen, we have a very attractive project in Muscat I would like to show you, which is a golf course and a hotel and a private club and a residential development. And this is where our collaboration started. And we've announced the Oman project way even before even the current sitting president announced he was going to run. Because again, we believe in the power of this brand, especially in golf.
Yeah, I was going to ask you specifically in Saudi Arabia, what's appealing about the brand and what's been the rationale behind the various joint projects? Because there's the Trump Tower in Jeddah, 2 projects as yet unannounced in Riyadh. I hope you'll tell us first when they are announced. And of course, other projects around the region. So just tell us the answer to that question. What is the appeal of the Trump brand in Saudi?
You see, the luxury market is evolving in Saudi, and there is more demand for luxury from the locals and from the international market. And if you want to build on Jeddah in front of the sea, one of the best towers, really you don't have a lot of options in terms of co-branding. So Trump is a great option to brand a tower on the Corniche in Jeddah, and to build within that tower also one of the first private clubs branded by Trump, because there's also a big demand in the city of Jeddah for private clubs. And then we would like so much to build with the Trump organization in Saudi a world-class golf course, because this is one of the big specialties of the organization, and we're hoping to find that opportunity soon in Riyadh.
Okay, and how are you seeing the sales of units in the Trump Tower in Jeddah progressing? What's been the trend?
Very successful. You know that we're a publicly listed company, so I'm limited by what I can say, but I can tell you it's been very successful because we presented to the market first what the market wants, with a great brand, with a great design.
Okay, so we talked a bit about Riyadh, we talked a bit about Jeddah. Are there other regions of Saudi Arabia that could hold some appeal for you, or is that not yet something you're exploring?
You see, we are exploring all the cities of Saudi, because you have definitely a great appeal in Riyadh, you have a great appeal in Jeddah. Then you have the 2 most interesting upcoming regulation regarding the holy sites of Mecca and Medina. Then you have all the developments on the Red Sea. The Red Sea is one of the best locations in the world, because any development on the Red Sea can be used for 12 months because of the weather on the Red Sea. So definitely we're looking at most of the locations where the government is putting a lot of efforts in Saudi.
Okay, and can you sum up for us any sort of key regulatory changes that are affecting the Saudi market, just so that we can inform our viewers?
You see, from a real estate perspective, the most aggressive was the opening up of the market. But also, Saudi is motivating a lot of foreign companies to come and open in Saudi, whereby now we're getting a lot of foreign contractors that are coming to Saudi, which is also helping the market, because we need more contractors. And at the same time, the expansion of the travel routes is very important, because it's very hard to sell to somebody if they cannot get a connection that is direct to that city. So expanding the airports, expanding the airlines will help a lot the real estate market.
Right, I mean, Saudi very much on the map, and we've been speaking to the airlines, we've been speaking to lots of people who are part of this journey. What's your outlook for the sector for Saudi Arabia over the next 10 years or so?
You see, There are so many cities that started before Saudi, but once Saudi started, everybody took attention because it's a G20 market. The market has a lot of weight on its own locally, plus adding to that the international appeal. You have today within Saudi at least 10 cities that can be developed. And let me just say that eventually Saudi will anchor the GCC because the GCC today is a $2 trillion economy. It's close to Italy. In Italy, as a foreign investor or as a visitor, you have at least 10 destinations to go. And you have the same thing in the GCC. And more, the GCC is becoming interconnected with roads, trains, the same tourist visa that is being discussed. And people need to look at this market, that Saudi is the anchor and the GCC is a very attractive destination eventually for tourism and expat living.
And just lastly, before we wrap up, who are you targeting in Saudi Arabia? I mean, just give us the profile of the typical buyer of one of your properties.
Definitely the local buyer is the local buyer who wants a luxurious offering. The international buyer, we are targeting the people who would have the first in advantage, the innovators. So we're targeting obviously markets in Asia like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. We're targeting the UK. We're targeting some markets in Eastern Europe. We're targeting the Levant because they have a lot of roots in the GCC. They've been here for so many years. But I can tell you, just for the first 2 projects that we've launched in Saudi since last November, we have approximately 40 nationalities that invested with us.
Okay, well, we're going to have to leave it there because we're out of time, but it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate your time. Ziad El Chaar, the CEO of the real estate developer DarGlobal. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.